Order.
The Honourable Amy Adams.
Mr Speaker, this week, over the course of the news cycle and through Parliament, we have seen clear examples of how the opposition in this country has become increasingly delusional and dysfunctional. And the Speaker who's just resumed her seat is an excellent example of that. There seems to be a belief that if you're a minor party in this Parliament, you can come down here, you can appear in the media, say anything you want, and if you say it often enough, that must make it true. Well, let me tell the Speaker, who has just resumed her seat, that the reality is, after 4 years in office, this government has turned this country around.
That's right.
Instead of facing debt, a crown debt of somewhere near 50% in 2020, as Cullen's legacy left us, we're now on track for mere 18%. The reality is, Mr Speaker, over the last 2 years, this government has created 54,000 new jobs. We have a growth rate that is the envy of the Western world. Unemployment benefit numbers are down and continue to fall. Health and education outcomes are as good as they have ever been. So I would say, Mr Speaker, to the previous member who's resumed her seat, saying it alone doesn't make it true, and you can continue to have your head in a delusional and dysfunctional space, Mr Clark, but that is the reality. The truth is, if we're dealing in facts, as seems to be the phrase of the week, let's deal in some facts. MMP government gives us a system where minor parties who have never had to deliver on a single thing can stand in this House and promise everything to the country and pretend there are no consequences of their actions. That's simply a fallacy. The real world, Mr Speaker, tells us that all our decisions have consequences. And the truth of the matter is, more red tape, higher costs, more bureaucracy means fewer jobs, less government spending, less opportunity for Kiwi families to get ahead, and reductions in health, law and order funding, education funding, and even fewer academics having the privilege of commenting on it all. Mr Speaker, in this government, we take our responsibilities seriously, and we know that everything we do has consequences. And it is incumbent on us to balance the decisions we make with the outcomes of those decisions, and be mindful always, sir, of the decisions we make having impacts on the jobs of real New Zealanders who are out there every day working hard to feed their families. We take that seriously, and we are not going to trifle with the jobs of New Zealanders. That is as true in the environment space as it is in any space. We take our environmental responsibilities incredibly seriously, and I will stand here today and back our record on what we have actually done in the environment space with the record of any other party in this House, and I am absolutely confident we will come out on top. This is a government that acts on the environment, that doesn't just talk about it. This is a government that puts water reform at the front of our program, and for the first time in New Zealand's history is taking the reform of our water management system seriously. But, Mr Speaker, what we have, unfortunately, is an opposition that would rather score politically motivated points, scaremongering and destroying our international reputation if it scores them a couple of points domestically. I think that is reprehensible, I think it is cowardly, and I think it is absolutely disloyal to the country that they claim to represent. We've seen the Green Party this year, Mr Speaker. We've seen the Green Party travel around their country through their self-confessed vandal advocate, Joel White, travel round, ramping up hysteria about the practice of hydraulic fracturing. We're telling them, run around telling people it will cause earthquakes, it will pollute their water supply, it will poison their children.
They should apologise.
They demanded an inquiry, Mr Speaker. They demanded an inquiry. And we agreed. Let's have a look at the practice. Let's see what the truth is. And the Parliamentary Commissioner for the Environment carried out the inquiry. The difference is, Mr Speaker, the Parliamentary Commissioner bases her opinions on facts, on substance, on science and on objectivity. A few criteria that, frankly, the Green Party could learn a little bit about. The Parliamentary Commissioner considered the practice, she considered it in some depth over some period of time, and she found no basis, Mr Speaker, no basis to call an end to the practice. Were the Greens satisfied? Of course not. There's no win for them in that. Let's carry on the scaremongering and let's just attack the inquiry, attack the Commissioner, demean it all on the simple basis that in the Greens world, on planet Green, if you don't agree with us, you must be wrong. The system must be broken. If it doesn't come out with the outcome that we've been preaching from our self-privileged basis, it must be wrong. So I would say to the Green Party, Mr Speaker, stop attacking your country, stop being careless with the jobs of real New Zealanders, pay attention to the facts and grow up.
The Honourable David
Mr.
Parker.
Speaker.
The Honourable David Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The last speaker claimed credit for New Zealand's debt position. This government has borrowed more money than